Welcome to Good Game. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
Tonight we reach the conclusion of a legendary tale that began almost 10 years ago with the first Uncharted. Join us as we review Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. I got it. Come on. Hey!
I just don't want it to be over, Hex.
Oh, it'll be okay, Bajo.
Plus, we team up to take down an alien invasion in Alienation.
We have aggroed quite a large group.
Goose, Hingers and NichBoy will also take to the couch to chat about some recent releases. I know there's been some Rocket League hoop shooting going on. But first, can you name the game for this week?
Alienation is a co-op twin-stick shooter that's carnage and instantly satisfying. This is swarm blasting fun. And this is all thanks to a good selection of weapons, some cool character upgrades, and lots of squishy aliens.
The premise is that aliens have invaded and thoroughly infested Earth. So as one of three classes, tank, saboteur, or biospecialist, your job is, well, pretty much extermination.
This game is designed for up to 4 players, but you can play it solo, and that's how I started. I took the tank class for a spin and got to grips with how it all worked. I've got to say, the menus instantly made me think of Destiny, and I guess there are some similarities. You're killing aliens, picking up loot, upgrading your weapons. It's that familiar and fun gameplay loop.
Yeah, I played a bit as the saboteur to begin with. This is meant to be a bit more of a stealthy class because they have a cloaking ability, but you are just as much up in the action as the tank. The biospecialist is the medic type who can provide some handy heals, but again, be prepared to fight. The differences are really in those secondary skills, like the saboteur's ability to call down an aerial strike.
Going so far, not many to go. That was the last one. Good job.
I liked the tank's ground smash. It's a last-ditch way of getting enemies off your back. For a twin-stick shooter, there's a lot to think about with this. For instance, you can reroll the stats on your weapons if you've collected enough resources, which is a nice touch. And you need that extra edge, especially if you play this on veteran difficulty, which I recommend you do, then the fights get really hectic.
Yeah, and I like that you encounter more than just groups of enemies positioned around the map. There are mini-bosses, auto turrets you can power up, sudden alien swarms. And if you die and have to restart from a checkpoint terminal, you'll need to fight through respawned enemies to get back to where you were. And that keeps the challenge going.
The maps are quite open though, with multiple paths, so if you get stuck in a bottleneck, there's always another angle to try. And I think there's a good variety of alien types overall too, from little to big.
I found those Xeno snipers pretty deadly, but you have just enough time to dash out of the way of their shots.
I love that dash. It's great for zipping around a fight or getting out of trouble. And the weapon variety is a good juggling act. To go from plasma guns, to shotgunning groups, to laying down flame, or minigunning from a distance. Plus, you really have to get to grips with that active reload. That's key to your survival.
Yeah, plus I like that your guns can actually run out of ammo too. That's not usual for a twin-stick shooter. It just gives you those moments of stress when you hear that empty chamber sound and you need to cycle to another gun.
The sounds of the guns are really good too, aren't they? And I like the way that your weapon's range is indicated by the length of your laser sights. Simple, but really helpful. And you know, for what you would think would be a simple top-down shooter, there's some pretty fancy visual effects here.
Yeah, it's nice, but it gets a bit messy and confusing with 4 players and enemies everywhere. I mean, sometimes I was just shooting and hoping for the best. Now, we played a bit of co-op together, which was fun, and I was surprised to find some PvP in there, Bajo.
Yeah, you can actually get invaded, and it's nice to see a bit of Souls influence infiltrating other genres. It's a guilty pleasure trying to gank someone. And you can always disable invasions in the options if you don't want to be bothered. It's good drop-in, drop-out co-op, although randoms didn't seem to want to cooperate much, did they?
Over here. Over here. Nice.
Over here!
Yeah, grab some friends and play because the classes do complement each other if you play it right. Like the way the tank can throw up those handy shields. And it helps to have buddies who will stick around to revive you.
Oh dear.
Oh no!
Oh dear.
Oh no!
Wait, where are you?
I am dead.
Oh god, there's so many. Zap. Oh, that was a cool energy wave. That was awesome.
That was
Woo, we did it! Alienation is developed by Housemarque, who also made Dead Nation. And I think all that experience has helped make this game as slick as it is. They've just mastered this type of experience.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's pretty mindless blasting, but it's such fun. What are you giving it?
4 stars.
I'm gonna give it 3.5.
Oh no, don't. Oh no, we aggro both sides. Oh no. Have you got artillery or something?
Artillery engaged!
Yes. Oh! Well, Hex, let's find out what the rest of the gang have been playing this week.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by the official Good Game B team, NichBoy and Hingers. Hey, guys.
Hi.
I'm in the B team too. It's okay.
Captain.
I'm captain of the B team.
Yeah.
And we've been checking out some of the recent expansions to some games we've been playing, and I'll kick things off with Rocket League Hoops, which answers the age-old question, what if you used small remote-control cars that play soccer to play basketball instead? The answer is chaos.
Oh.
Absolute chaos.
Oh.
No! No!
It's a great new sort of take on the Rocket League formula. You've got a full basketball court, and now you've got vertical goals.
Vertical goals.
They've got like sort of
Playing your
rims.
sports ball.
Look, we're playing with cars, so we're already giving up that we know what we're talking about. So I thought this would be a real great sort of change on the formula. Once I got started, though, I realized that you need a lot of skill to play this. It's focusing on the aerials, which people have gotten really good at over the past couple of months, and I haven't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like this reaffirmed the decision to make the game about soccer.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really fun. I like that it's an additional mode. It's
Definitely.
not the new Rocket League.
But I found these sort of really difficult goals to try and get the ball in take away from that element of random fun.
It was so hard for me to actually score a goal. My best bet was to either just hit it and hope, or run it up the wall on the side and kind of let it drop in.
Yeah, that's how I think most of the people were getting goals in it. And defense is terrible now because you literally have to sit under the ring and try and hope that you can pop up at the perfect minute and get your camera there. It's a much more technical version of this sport.
Do you think it'll get better if they make the ball bouncier, like an actual basketball?
Possibly. I know they've played with a bit of the physics, but nothing that I really noticed. I will say that the best thing about it was that it got us back into the mode to play original soccer Rocket League.
Because it's kind of like they go, okay, well, here's something for pro players who are really great at aerial shots, but also, for the rest of you, play 10 minutes of it and then remember how good Rocket League is in the first
And
place.
it has aged beautifully over however many months it's been
like
out.
a fine wine
Yeah, exactly.
after 7 months.
Now, moving on, Hingers, you've been playing a game I believe you're a fan of, StarCraft 2.
Yes, a mission pack that answers the age-old question, what would it be like if Nova, the ghost from StarCraft, had her own mission pack? Age-old indeed.
Where am I?
It starts off really simply, and so the first hour or so is kind of boring a little bit, and then it kind of hypes up into getting more exciting and more intense. They're going to release 3 of these mission packs, and I feel like this is a good introduction, which might mean that later on the missions will be better in the second and third expansions to this mission pack, but for now, I'm on the fence about it.
Can we pretend for a second you're not a semi-professional StarCraft player?
No.
And also an elitist.
Okay.
If for someone like me who doesn't play the multiplayer, would I gain something from this because it's an interesting single-player campaign?
Yeah, because you're a scrub, you might enjoy. No, I think you will. I think you can. I mean, the storyline is interesting. They're developing new stuff with these characters that we've come to know and love over the last, decade or so. But it's really not adding anything competitive to the game, which is kind of where my heart lies.
Yeah. And is it the remaining missions that are going to come out, are they all Nova-based?
Yes. It's all based around this one story, and it kind of is using some material that was going to be in that the Ghost game that was cancelled.
Oh, the spin-off. that got
Yeah,
cancelled.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So this
yeah.
is their way of sort of placating fans who really wanted that. And it's like, well, now you can get
all
like
7 of us.
Yeah.
Like, come on, baby.
And even you are like, nah, I'm not so hot on it.
All hands to battle stations.
maybe wait off until they've released all 3, I think.
And finally, Nick, you've been playing another game close to your heart, Hearthstone.
Yes, I've been checking out the Whispers of the Old Gods expansion, which answers the age-old question, what would it be like if Nick spent all of his money on Hearthstone cards?
Now I've got a tale to tell you.
So with the release of any Hearthstone expansion, for me, it's a time of great delight and also sort of experimentation. But particularly now, along with this release, they also brought in a couple of new ways of playing. So they now split the game into standard mode and wild mode. So wild mode is all the cards that have ever been released and everything kind of just is chaos there.
Yep.
But standard mode is you only play with the expansions and the cards that have come out in the last 2 years, plus the original set. So it's been a week of non-stop playing for me. I'm exhausted and I wish I wasn't here because I would be home playing more Hearthstone.
Fair enough.
They brought in lots of new synergy cards, so big cards that do huge things at turn 10 that you need to set up over the course of the game, and it's created total pandemonium.
I think...
Are you playing?
I'm playing a lot of this as well, and I've noticed Pandemonium is a good way to describe it because I think one of the big cards that everyone's playing is Cthulhu.
Yes, which everyone gets for free.
And that is a card that can be buffed and is a 10 mana card. And what happens is that card comes out at the end of the game by both players, and it can just turn. It can totally turn the tide.
Yeah.
They've actually released these kind of new deck suggestions.
The recipes,
Yeah, where you can kind of see what cards you have and kind of slip into certain types of decks, which I find really helpful given this new meta we're all playing in now.
Absolutely. It's a way of introducing new players who might be coming along or people who have lapsed and haven't played in a while. But with this one, the difference for me between the last few expansions is this is the one where I went, okay, I'm just going to sort of suck it up and buy a bunch of decks because I actually wanted to get most of the new cards. And I think I have all of them except for about 12. And the reason for that was that I know it's crazy. Like, it's a crazy amount of money that I spent.
You've put enough time into Hearthstone to warrant dropping a bit of cash on this. Would you say that that's a fair call?
It's pretty much the third person in my relationship.
Okay, there we go.
But don't you like unlocking the cards over the course of an expansion? Don't you enjoy getting new stuff every week? If you unlock it all now, if you get all the cards now, then what is there to achieve?
This is one where they're actually changing the game, and I wanted to be involved at the very beginning to go, let's experiment with all the decks that people are playing. So I can go, okay, what's this person playing? I can now make that deck because I have most of those cards and then tweak it how I want and actually feel like I can participate in the finding process. But I do think they've revitalized what was a sort of stale meta in the game for
Definitely.
a while.
And the look in your eyes tells me you'll be playing it for a lot longer. Fair enough. All right, well, that's a look at a couple of recent expansions, but now it's back to Bajo and Hex in the studio and their review of Uncharted 4. B-Team Dissemble. I don't know.
Can I get a ride home? Because I spent all of my money on cards.
How much did you spend on this game?
I want to hear about you. Huh? Me? Yeah. Jeez, Sam, where do I start? Start with the best part.
Took a long time for him to get out of this game.
Okay, he's meant for this life.
You really believe that?
Nathan, we were meant for this. You and me together. We're gonna go far.
I don't even care about the treasure.
If you're done lying to me, then you should stop lying to yourself.
How long we been chasing this thing, huh? You and me.
You do what you have to do.
No offense to these guys, but they don't get it.
Nathan Drake has had a thrilling life, to say the least, but not even he can chase relics and thwart death forever. So he's found a kind of quiet happiness at home with wife Elena and a solid, completely above-board steady job.
It'll stink like fish for a week.
Yeah, he doesn't miss the thrill of adventure at all.
Immediately commented about how rude the smog was, that it was like shock to the lungs, like the second that you got off the plane.
But despite being committed to his new life, when his long-lost brother Sam turns up out of the blue, things get complicated.
I need you on this one.
Sam, there's got to be another way.
Sam is in the kind of trouble that only a hoard of legendary pirate treasure can fix. Yar, it looks like adventure calls again.
Yar, skibbity, yar, yar. There's something great about that one last job, isn't there?
We're rich.
It's bittersweet for both Nathan and us, because as he reminisces and all the adventures he's had, we have been right there on that journey with him.
Climbed your big brother some years back.
Oh, it's so emotional, isn't it? And you're right, each memory, we were there, we made it happen, we felt every loss and triumph. And Nolan North has done such a great job of bringing this character to life over the years that I feel like I know Nate, he's a part of all of us.
Well, with no time to waste, you and your brother set off in search of a mythical pirate utopian city known as Libertalia.
Yes, and in true Uncharted tradition, you'll follow an elaborate trail of clues and towers and tombs that see you bouncing all over the globe. From Panama
Here we go.
to Italy to Scotland
A hop, skip, and a jump away.
and Madagascar.
That's the first thing I looked up when we said we were heading for a volcano. That and where to rent the cheapest 4x.
Hex, my eyes, they were melting out of my face with that scenery.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it, it's too beautiful.
I found it distracting. All I wanted to do was slow pan and take screenshots and just drink in all the majesty of the landscapes I was presented with. The graphics in this game took my breath away so many times that I think I just actually stopped breathing at one point.
There's just so much detail everywhere, so much detail. And all the character animations are better than ever and expertly captured with such subtlety and nuance.
Yes, even the eyes now, they look real.
Who's to say he didn't?
Yeah, and in particular, the animations and AI behavior are just magnificent. Nathan is rarely alone in this game. He always has someone with him, and that means conversations and stories unravel through dialogue as you drive, chase, fight, climb, and explore. In most video games, AI companions are usually annoying, but in Uncharted, you love them.
Yes, and they are never in your way.
Holy shit!
Plus, I love how conversations will pause for bouts of action or enemy encounters and then just pick up right where you left off.
Sully, you were saying?
Oh, yeah, right. So, Alcazar was the go-between.
What was he like?
A lot of that character interaction was developed really well in The Last of Us, and I can see how much of that sophistication and movement has been transferred into this game.
Everything all right?
And this is the way Naughty Dog nails the storytelling. The cutscenes are incredible, cinematic, and often lengthy pieces of film that are a joy to watch. I always looked forward to them.
Have any idea what I put on the line to get you here?
About what I put on the line. Okay? The last 15 years of my life.
This has nothing to do with that.
It has everything to do with that.
But so much of the story is told through experiences and conversations that Nate shares with his companions as they travel together too.
Yeah, and all that surreal and fluid. This time around, it was kind of surreal how you're taking control of these actors and walking through this massive story.
So, did Sully fill you in on the deal with this place?
Yep. Henry Avery, 400 million, 12 founders, hundreds of colonists.
And similar to The Last of Us, there are optional little moments you can trigger in the environment to further explore the narrative too, and I just love that.
Not a bad view. Hey. Hey, you ever wonder, like, with different choices, how we might have ended up?
So much of that dialogue is there to naturally guide you through this environment too and help suggest where to go next. I think the level design is the real hero of this game. So many little visual cues, like scratches on the wall. Somehow they've made all of your anchor points blend in even more than the last game. And I love how for a lot of this game, you're always moving past the point of no return, you know, just driving you forwards mentally and physically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that the game is crafted in a way that makes it almost feel open world with multiple paths to take. And yet you always seem to find your way to where you need to end up. Even in those fast-paced sequences of high action.
And if you're ever unsure of where to go next or how to solve a puzzle, then the characters will tell you with casual suggestions to one another.
I mean, there's too many permutations.
I say we see where that door leads.
Yeah, and that's another benefit of having an AI companion, isn't it? Nate doesn't always have to be thinking out loud to himself. And you even solve puzzles together, which is wonderful.
Come on back to this side. I'll weigh it down.
But as well as working on a practical level, it also helps solidify the characters' bond, particularly between Sam and Nate. There are so many moments where they work together to save one another from the clutches of death.
You good?
Yeah. Sam is played by Troy Baker, who was also Booker in BioShock Infinite and Joel in The Last of Us, and is one of the few mocap and voice actors out there with the chops to rival Nolan North.
He's double-crossed people in the past, but not us. No, not you.
Troy did such a good job, and it was incredible and believable seeing them together as brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very impressive that they managed to introduce essentially an entirely new character in the final game, and yet had us feeling immediately emotionally invested in the relationship between him and Nate. And that's achieved through good writing, fantastic performances, and also by having us play through those memories of the brothers as children.
Ooh, you gotta learn to watch your back.
All right.
Hey, it's good to see you, little brother. What is that? Really? Again?
It's nothing.
You told me you'd stay out of trouble, though.
Yeah, and it's so important for us to play through those memories and experience it ourselves, rather than just watching it in a cutscene. Because really, having a long-lost brother is a pretty convenient story device, and yet they handled it expertly.
Yeah, but it's not just about Nate and Sam's relationship, it's also about the relationship between Nate and Elena.
I love Elena.
You know, I forgot. Pretty good at this.
And Emily Rose gives such an incredibly real and subtle performance in this.
Well, I mean, this is a lifestyle they both made the decision to leave behind them, so this trip really tests their relationship, their marriage. I mean, you can cut the tension with a knife.
Thanks for saving me. Again.
I almost didn't this time.
Right.
Come on. I got us a ride.
Naughty Dog have made a conscious and deliberate shift to do more storytelling with this Uncharted. And it is a big shift, but I think it's still balanced. There's still plenty of action, of course. It wouldn't be Uncharted without it.
Be careful.
There's wild weather and gunfights and explosions galore. But I didn't feel like there were any of those long, drawn-out cover sections. They got really repetitive in previous games.
Yeah, I agree. They've been much more creative, not only in the way they've designed the gunfights themselves, but in the way they break them up into shorter bursts of enemy engagement.
We also saw with the remastered Uncharted collection that they adjusted the difficulty settings, and that's carried over here. There's now an Explorer mode if you just want to enjoy the story, and 4 difficulty settings from there. There's also a pretty hefty aim assist.
Oh, it's so good to have aim assist. Although I will say it probably makes things a little bit too easy if you have it on.
Yeah, I'm glad it's there, but once I turned it off, I had a lot more fun. It just removed all the challenge for me.
Yeah, I mean, really what I want is something that's going to guide me within a general ballpark of the target. But this, like, snaps you to the nearest enemy, so you can't miss. Just a bit of middle ground would have been ideal.
Yeah, like the way GTA 5 or The Division do it, where you've got that room for movement to aim for headshots. But overall, the shooting is heaps better, and that's mostly because enemies don't soak up an entire clip before they go down. Took them 4 games to get it right, Hex, but they finally did it.
Yeah, but the point to make is here that they've given you so many options to customize the difficulty that you can play this and have a good time with as much or as little challenge as you like. Which is amazing.
I enjoyed the emphasis on stealth in this game too. Marking targets works well, and you can even get through some areas without engaging the enemy at all. I really enjoyed all this stealth, especially when you can throw a grenade to distract everyone and make a quick getaway.
I'm going over this way.
I think I lost him.
It's great that you have these stealth options now too, because Drake has always been painted as this roguish hero, and then it's kind of glossed over that he murders hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of goons.
Yeah, goons are people too. There were definite echoes of Assassin's Creed in the way you hide in long grass and took enemies down on the sly. And I feel like you're always encouraged to at least try the stealth route first.
Yeah, but it's never forced on you.
No, it's more about giving Nathan the intention of at least trying to reduce bad guy casualties.
He does snap a lot of necks though. It's always a tricky thing in action games for developers to try and balance that, and I think maybe they could have done a better job of setting up these goons as being particularly evil, but you just kind of have to let it go.
Yeah, another thing we should mention is just how much fun it is to make your way through these changing environments. You are dropped into some of the most awe-inspiring parts of the world, and then given the ultimate gamer gift of a grapple to swing from, and it honestly just feels like Christmas.
Yes, Nathan must be the strongest man in the world because he spends about 50% of this game hanging from rocks. But that's great because as a mechanic, it's just so much fun.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. And there is just the right amount of puzzle, timing, and agility worked into these climbing sections to make them challenging but never frustrating or repetitive.
No, you're never really doing anything in this game for too long at a time. It's constantly changing up, so you stay 100% engaged. And how about those vehicle sections?
Oh man, churning through rivers and mud and trying to get a four-wheel drive up muddy slopes. It was such a marvelous change of pace. And even the wonderful detail of having to physically wrap a winch around a tree to hoist your car up a hill.
There, that ought to do it. Steady.
There is also multiplayer, but it wasn't live at the time of review. However, NichBoy did check out the beta a while back, so you can go online there and see how that plays.
Yeah, if you do just stick to the story though, Uncharted games are always meaty offerings, and this is no exception, so you'll be on this ride for quite a while. Hey, would you say around 15 hours?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely longer than the other games. And I was always getting the sense of it about to wrap up, and then suddenly I'm off on a plane to some other part of the world.
I know, and yet I was so acutely aware of the fact that this is the last game in Drake's story that I just didn't want it to end, so I was glad they gave me so much. That said, it was so exciting and I was so invested that once I started this, I just couldn't stop, and I ended up playing this through till 5:30 in the morning. It's been a long time since I've done that, Bajo, and it takes a special game.
Yeah, it is a special game. It's also a very, very clever game. The polish, the level of polish here is unprecedented. But what I like most about this game is that it pulled me right into their world. I was right there with those characters on this epic adventure. I'm giving it 5 out of 5.
I mean, this delivers everything that anyone who's ever loved the Uncharted series could hope for. True fan service and the ultimate respect to those who've been on this adventure from the very beginning. I mean, in many ways, Uncharted 4 embodies Sir Francis Drake's infamous motto, Sic Parvis Magna, greatness from small beginnings. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 as well.
Do you remember the theory that we had that Sir Francis Drake faked his own death?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, he did.
Off the coast of Panama?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, now get this. Okay, I open it up, right? And there's no body. But the bottom is his old journal.
Are you shitting me?
So, did you name the game for this week? It was Keef the Thief on PC from 1989. This RPG challenged you to steal everything in sight, with a bit of combat and alchemy thrown in for good measure, culminating in a heist on the city treasury. And it was our Name the Game for this week because it was the first game released by Jason Rubin and Andrew Gavin under the Naughty Dog name, the studio behind this week's Uncharted 4.
Next week on the show, we find out if we were born to battle in Battleborn.
Swordman!
Where is he? Where is he? Where is he?
He's everywhere.
Punch him. He's everywhere.
Will it do as well for Gearbox Software as Borderlands did?
Starts with a B, same number of syllables. I'd say it's a pretty safe bet.
Over on Spawn Point this weekend, we'll take a look at the companion game to Star Fox Zero, Star Fox Guard.
And don't forget, you can find NichBoy on iView and YouTube every weekday.
Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out. What do you think of the product placement puzzle in Uncharted?
Wait, what do you mean product placement puzzle? Oh, right, the phone.
Let's just use my Sony phone.
There were some lingering shots on it for sure.
I get it. We're playing on a Sony machine. We're playing on a PS4. You've got my money. Come on.